In this video, I'm doing a position analysis from the 2023 Ultimate Backgammon Championships between Sander Lylloff and Masayuki Mochizuki. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. Thank you to Marc, Olsen, and Backgammon Galaxy for allowing me to use this position. In this video, my book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. Okay, this was the position, and they were using the beautiful Void board by Backgammon Galaxy, the Casio edition. So those are the colors of the surface. Here, we're going to look at it like this. Okay, so Sander is playing the orange checkers at the bottom, and Mochy is playing the blue checkers at the top. They're bearing off on the right. This is the first match. It's a 7-point match. The score is 4-2 in favor of Sander. So Sander is 3 away. Mochy is 5 away. Sander has one checker on the bar and has a 5-4 to play, and the cube is in the middle. So pause the video for a moment, take a look, think about how you would play, and then we'll look at the analysis in a moment. Okay, so let's look at what are the options here. So when you have a checker on the bar, you have to come in first before you play anything else. So with a 5-4, you can come in with either the 5 or the 4, so you have to consider what you want to do, whether you want to come in with the 5 or whether you want to come in with the 4. And if you decide to come in with the 5, you have to think about what you'd like to do with the 4 and vice versa with the 4 and the 5. So there are a few reasonable options. All of them include coming in with the 5. One option would be to anchor 24-20, make that 20-point anchor. Another option would be to leave that checker there and hit loose with 9-5. And the third option would be to leave that checker there and play 13-9. So here is the analysis. Here is the answer. Looking at the plus XG analysis, the top play is coming in with the 5 and hitting loose 9-5. The second play is making the anchor, and the third play turns out to be a blunder of making the 9-point. So the top play looks like this. Bring the checker in from the bar and then hit loose 9-5, resulting in this position with one blue checker on the bar. The second play, and we're going to compare these top two plays, is to come in with the 5 and then anchor by playing 24-20, resulting in this position. And the third one, which is a serious error, is coming in and covering the 9-point. And that results in this position. So when we're looking at the top play of hitting loose, well, that's play A, and the anchoring play is play B. So this is a list of how all of the opponent's 21 subsequent rolls play. The biggest positive swing is with a 6-4 because 6-4 dances, and the biggest negative swing is with a 5-1, which hits twice. So we're going to look at that. So this is after the top play of coming in and hitting loose. If blue rolls a 6-4, you can't come in, and that's a big swing. So that's worth 741 millipoints. This is for orange, so for orange it's worth negative 741 millipoints. I'm sorry, for blue it's worth negative 741 millipoints. Therefore, for orange it's positive 741 millipoints. On the other hand, after 5-1, blue will come in and then hit again 6-5, unstacking, resulting in this position. Now blue's a favorite with positive 389 millipoints. That means orange would have negative 389 millipoints. Now, if you made the other play, the anchoring play, and if blue rolls a 6-4, it's played like this, resulting in this position, and it's almost a 50-50 game. On the other hand, if you make that same play and blue rolls a 5-1, it's much better for you because you don't have two checkers on the bar and you have a lot of targets here. Now, We'll go back and look at the original position. What you want to do to figure out why this is correct is to make changes, make modifications, make variants of the position. So move things around to determine the key structural aspects that make it favorable to make one play over another play. Okay, so this was the original position where the correct play is to hit loose. Let's change it now. So change orange's 2-point board into a 1-point board by bringing the two checkers on the 4-point to one on the 8-point and one on the 6-point. Now with a 2-point board, it becomes much better to do the anchor. So that means that having the 2-point board is important, because when you're in a hitting exchange, if you have a 1-point board versus a 2-point board, you're an underdog. But when both sides have a 2-point board, it's equally as likely for one player to come in from the bar as the other. Additionally, having the better, more pure board, meaning having the 6 and the 4 points versus the 6 and the 3 points, is a further advantage. So we will look at that also. So in this case, we look at what happens when you have the 3-point instead of the 4-point. So the two checkers on the 4-point have been moved to the 3-point. Now the anchoring comes up on top. Okay, so having this 4-point is really important. That allows you to play more aggressive by hitting loose. Now let's move the checker back from the 23-point to the 24-point. Okay, so now anchoring comes up on top again, and hitting loose is a big blunder. Part of the reason is because when you anchor, it duplicates the 4s that blue needs to anchor here and to hit. Additionally, if you hit loose with 9 to 5, you see the 4s become diversified, because blue would be able to hit with a 4 from 24 to 20 here, but blue cannot come in with a 4. So in addition to the rolls like 5s, all 5s, 3, 2, and 4, 1, of course, also 4, 3, and 4, 2 will hit, and additionally double 2 will hit. So there are more return shots. So that's one of the things you want to look at. If the opponent cannot come in with one of these numbers, like a 6 or a 4, does that number play well elsewhere? So in this variant, what I did was I moved blue's checkers from the 3-point to the 4-point. So now blue owns the 4-point instead of the 3-point. And now the two plays are virtually tied. So we saw that in the opposite side, when anytime the point that you have, the second point, is higher, that's better. So you start with the 6-point. If you have the 4-point, it's much better than having the 3-point. And if you have the 5-point, it's much better than having the 4-point. These things make a big difference. It turns out when you have the 5-point, that gives you a lot of equity, and you're able to take positions which are passed as if you did not own the 5-point. So if you own the 4-point as opposed to the 5-point, it makes a big difference. So that's something to learn and think about and consider. Now let's look at what happens when you move a checker from blue's midpoint to orange's 14-point or blue's 11-point. Now again, the anchoring comes out on top, because when you come in and hit loose, blue cannot come in with a 6, but then blue has a good 6 from the bar. The 6s are diversified, just like how the 4s were diversified when we moved this checker back. Blue will have good 6s. So you want to think about that and take that into consideration. Now this is the original position, and the score was 4-2, 3 away, 5 away. You look at the difference between the top two plays. You see hitting loose is going to win more gammons, about 4.5% more gammons. It's going to lose 5.2% more gammons. However, you have to consider the gammon value. What is a gammon going to get you? So when you're at 3 away, if you win a gammon, a natural gammon or an undoubled gammon with a cube in the center, you're going to get to 1 away, which is the Crawford game. And that's a valuable score to be at, because you get a cushion. The opponent may not double for 1 game, and that's very valuable. So you're able to get to a valuable score. So your gammon value is higher. Now, the opponent is at 5 away, winning undoubled gammon or a natural gammon with a cube in the middle gets him to 3 away, which is not as valuable a score. So you can look at these. When you are 3 away, 5 away, the 3 away player has more value on their gammons. It's 0.571, which is higher than money, which is always 0.5. And the trailer has a lower gammon value, 0.415, less than money, because you just have to think about what score you're at, what score a gammon will get you, and what score a gammon will get your opponent to see. So when you think about these increases and decreases in gammon, wins and losses, you have to also consider the gammon value, and you have to consider the score, and that will dictate the gammon value. Now, let's look at the score where it is gammon save. So orange is leading 6-5 in the Crawford game, or 1 away, 2 away Crawford. Now, in the Crawford game, the cube may not be turned. So if blue wins a gammon, blue wins the match outright without having to play an additional game. So orange really wants to prevent that. Making an anchor decreases gammon losses significantly. So at this score, it's an error to hit loose. It's right by a lot to make that point. And here it is. You see these gammons, the gammons that you win have no value because you just need 1 point when you're 1 away, 2 away Crawford. So this is irrelevant, but giving the opponent extra gammons is really big. So that's why you don't want to make this play here. This is the gammon value. And look, this is the most, basically as extreme as it can get. Your gammon value is absolutely 0 because a gammon will gain you nothing in addition to what a single game win would get you. On the other hand, the gammon value for blue at gammon go for blue, 2 away, 1 away Crawford, is 1.0 because you win the match perfectly. So it's double that of money. So that is another thing you need to think about. So make score variance in addition to the position variance to determine why a play is right. A lot of times people will ask me, well, you can play against XG, but how do you know the reason? Well, because the computer doesn't tell you the reason. This is how you do it. So these are the tips from this position. Anytime you make a play, and you have an option as to whether to make one play or another play or perhaps a third or fourth play, think about what may happen in the next exchange. So use the dice distribution feature, which I used. The dice distribution for the next roll is available itself in XG, and the 2-roll one with the extra diagrams and the charts are available to the USBGF members. I have another video on that. Next, what you want to do is create variants of the position to identify key positional aspects which make one play right. So as we did in the exercise in this video, we change one thing, make a minor change, moving one checker from one point to another, breaking a point, moving a checker back, moving a checker forward, adding an additional builder in the zone, making all of these changes and see what happens to the correct play. Is it still correct, or is the other play better now? And when you do that and you see these things, that will help you identify the reason why this is correct. So in one position, it may be correct to make a certain play, but if the position is different, it may be correct to make a different play. The other thing you have to do is consider the score, like we did. Determine if gammon wins and losses are more valuable to you or your opponent. So at gammon go, gammons are more valuable to you. At gammon save, they're more valuable to the opponent. And various other scores, the value is different. I've done multiple different videos of matches, so you can learn about that, see what the valuable scores are. In general, you want to think about the away score, how many points you need to get to your goal. In this match, it was a 7-point match, so you want to get to 7. So if you're at 4, you're 3 away. Of course, you want to get to 0 away because that gets you perfect. That wins you the match perfectly. If you're at 3 away and you win a double gammon for 4 points, that's 1 point extra that you didn't need. It's wasted. Imagine if you're running 100 yards and you each have 70 yards to go. You're each 7 away, 7 away. running an additional 10 yards to get to 80 yards total is not going to get you anything more. You still win the race. So that's the same way. Valuable scores are 2 away and 4 away, as well as the 1 away Crawford score. Anytime your score is an even away, that's more valuable than an odd away score, and especially when the away score is a value of the cube, such as 2 away, 4 away, and 8 away. If you're interested in learning more about match strategy, I recommend the book Adjusting to Match Play by Nick Blazer. That's an outstanding book. And The Theory of Backgammon by Dirk Schiemann has a lot of information. It's very technical. And there's an older book by Kit Woolsey, How to Play Tournament Backgammon. So that was the position analysis from the 2023 UBC finals between Sander Lylloff and Masayuki Mochizuki. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. Thank you again to Marc Olsen and the Backgammon Galaxy team for producing this event and allowing me to use this position in the video. Again, my book, Backgammon Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. I look forward to seeing you in future videos, and until then, keep rolling your dice.